I really am enjoying getting to know the guests who are on. So depending on how the flow goes tonight, it'd be really great to hear from others, because I saw that John Peterson's on, I saw Jean-Vieve is on, and I always like doing the old polka dot door. Do you guys remember polka dot door? Who's old enough to remember that? Kat shaking her head. I see Kat. I see Elaine. I see. So anyway, it's really a great honor to be able to speak with you all tonight. And, I'm going to start right from the very beginning. But before I do that, I want to thank you, Kat, from the New Brunswick Film Co-op, for coming on board here, because what you represent with the Film Co-op members, I feel, is a community of very talented people, some who have taken their film storytelling skills to the professional level, to a point where they're making a living out of it, and others are keeping it as just as the art, and some are doing a hybrid, and I felt that what we have learned on the first cohort of Filmpreneur was so relevant for the film co-op community, which I was born out of way back in 1990. Let me see. I think it was 1996 that I joined film co-ops. Yeah, back when we were the Tidal Wave. Remember that? Yeah. Tidal Wave Film Festival?
You have long hair.
Yes, I know. I'm going bald now, so that's not the case anymore. And so anyway, I really want to thank and honor you, Kat, for allowing me to to bring you on and also speak directly to the film co-op community. We also have some non-film co-op folks on here tonight, which is really exciting. So anyway, why don't we just get started? I'm going to start right from the beginning about what the heck Filmpreneur is. So Hemmings House is the company that I've grown with my team. Essentially, we've been growing this since 2002. It had a different name way back in the day. It was called Hit Media, and a few things changed over the years. I started my first company with two really good friends, and that kind of crashed and burned after about 2.5 years of us really trying to learn how to do a business, because we're a bunch of filmmakers, we're artists, and we didn't know how to run a business. And it got really messy, I have to tell you. But I learned a lot about business by creating a business and essentially failing it and bombing it. My second attempt was, we incorporated Hemmings House in 2007 or 2006. And right out of the gate, we had a TV series. And I started this company to be a television production company. We wanted to do television series and documentaries, and that was going to be our life, all with original content. But what I realized is, to keep a team going, we had to keep them fed, i.e. we had to create some sort of revenues to, so people get paid. And with that, we got into the commercial space. And what we've been able to learn over the last almost decade and a half is to find a balance for us to be able to tell the original content, the passion projects, the projects that are making positive social change in the world, the projects that are fulfilling our creative and art spirit. We've been able to continue doing those without needing to make money on those. We've been able to do them by creating a business that is creating, really great storytelling value for commercial clients and for not-for-profits and other organizations that have budgets to pay for our skill set. So it's almost like two different silos. You've got your creative original content silo, which I think all of us on this call have a heart for. But then the other side is, how do we fund it? A lot of people fund it by having another type of job outside of the industry, and that's a total noble approach, great approach. But some people would really love to be practicing their art of their professional storytelling and filmmaking as a full-time job, so they can do both. All that to say is, after close to 20 years of doing this, I've been able to fail horribly. I've been able to win a lot. I've been able to make a global network and connections with amazing people, amazing brands, broadcasters. I've just been able to have a lot of fun with my team. And with that, I've become quite a bit of a mentor to a number of other filmmakers around North America who have really wanted to take their filmmaking business to the next level. And last year, I found myself spending 8 or 9 hours a month just mentoring people, doing this on Zooms and Skypes, Just people asking basic questions like, hey, what do we do with this, in this legal situation? Or what type of budget template do you have? What should we do with E&O insurance? Hey, I'm pitching to my first broadcaster. What type of pitch deck should I create? A lot of the questions were the same thing. And outside of that, there was a real desire with these filmmakers and these storytellers to use the art of film to create positive social change in the world and really create movements. And that's something that I've personally been focusing on for the last 10 years as well. And I realized, geez, I'm having the same conversations with these people over and over again. Why don't I create a course? So I put together this thing called Filmpreneur, which is an online module system of, I'm taking you through a whole narrative of beginning to end of creating a business out of your film gifts and skills. And what we did, and in a second I'm going to pass it over to our guests here, but what we were able to do on that first cohort, is a beta cohort, is we went over 12 modules in a period of 4 weeks. And every week, excuse me, we'd get onto a webinar like this, and we would all share the ideas that we learned from the module. So it wasn't about me teaching. It was us about having really deep, rich conversations with each other. And I'm learning as much as everybody else, because we're all learning with each other. And then we ended up in Mexico. So we had a digital component and then an in-person component, because really the magic happens when people meet each other and they go deep. They create friendships and relationships that last forever. And when you've got filmmakers, like on our first cohort, we had filmmakers from Yosemite, San Francisco, Venice Beach, New York, Toronto, Vancouver, New Brunswick. We had such a rich, diverse group of people coming in, many of them who I'd never met before, which is really exciting. And now they're lifelong friends. And it was so rich and deep. And I was able to learn so much because everybody came to teach something. That were like, we got to do this again. We have to do a second beta before we actually go live with this in the fall as a legit business offering. So I'm going to go into the details a little bit about what the plans are for the beta cohort, the second one, closer to the end of this this discussion. I just want to give you a setup of why I wanted to connect with us today. Okay, so one of the things we're going to do is bring, stop sharing. That's a nice way of saying it, isn't it? Stop sharing. Kat, let's just start with you. I've known you for many, many years. You and Tony and the group have really done an amazing job building community with filmmakers in New Brunswick. And you would see more than me, more than anybody else, what the community needs. And you and I didn't even have a chance to really prep ourselves for this call, so I don't even know the angle you're going to take. But I'd love for you to represent the film co-op community and and give us a good sense of who they are. How many are doing it just for making awesome art? How many are doing it to create a business? What do you feel the needs of that community are?
Well, we've got about 200 members province-wide, and the ages range from 16 to 94. We've got what you mentioned earlier about we have people who, they're students who are just learning a thing, and they're taking, either going to film school or UMB or the craft college. And then we have people who, it's the hybrid where they have full-time jobs or part-time jobs, and then they're doing their film stuff on the side, which they'd really like to do full-time. And then there are people that do it for fun. But I would say at one point when people started buying their own equipment, we really thought that the co-op might become obsolete. And then we realized something pretty fantastic was it wasn't the equipment, it's the people. And everybody always needs that support. They need to feel like they're a part of a community and they're learning together and helping each other. So the co-op will never go out of style as far as we can see.
I think that is such a beautiful point. And I think you probably agree is the people part is strong because you've built a culture and a community, right?
Yeah, that's what we've been trying to do for, gosh, Tony's been at the co-op for over 30 years and I've been there for over 20. And it's still an ongoing challenge because there's not a lot of, like, there's a lot.
Oh, Kat's frozen. Let's just give it a second here. I will. Okay, I think we have, is Kat frozen on everybody's screen? Yeah. At least it's a very lovely frozen frame of Kat. Kat, you froze.
Am I back?
Oh, there we go. You're back. You're back.
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Repeat the
So,
last minute.
okay. The last minute. Okay. I guess I'm quite amazed at what people are able to accomplish in New Brunswick with very little financial support. We just don't have that stable government support. It's been there, then it's taken away. It's been there, then it's taken away. So I think having such a great community, people are just doing amazing things to help each other out, and people are helping each other apply for grants now. If someone gets a grant, they help another person. But I think, Greg, Hemmings House has become very important because you're almost like a conduit to the rest of the world to a large degree, and we really need that. We need to get our stories out there into the world.
No, I appreciate you saying that, and I feel it's really neat because, as you know, as big supporters and members of the co-op, and in love with the Silver Wave Film Festival, it's really cool that us in the quote unquote commercial space are so welcomed in that community. And what I want to see, this is a very nice bridge into the heart of Filmpreneur, is we are building a community, a global community of like-minded storytellers, most of them with a film focus, not all, who are really committed to making the world a better place using film storytelling, or using storytelling of any sort, really. And I'm very clear and explicit about that, because I think if that doesn't groove with you as a filmmaker, that's totally fine. But Filmpreneur is probably not for you. But Filmpreneur, I feel, is a great way for filmmakers and artists who really want to be connected with other people who have figured out how to make money responsibly and ethically with their art and their craft. And I guess straight up, I just wanted to ask you if you feel that that's an asset for the film co-op community, because maybe it's not as well. Like you're so in touch with the membership, and that's I think that's why I really was keen to get your perspective.
Can you repeat that, Greg? The
Oh,
last part? You froze.
sorry. Yeah. I was just saying the connection of bringing helping film co-op members, as an example,
Right.
get connected with more of a global network of other filmmakers who are hacking the way we are, trying to always find clever ways to fund our original content projects, our social impact docs, and share best practices. And yeah, I guess my question was your perspective for the membership. Would this be of value? And the first cohort that we did, it was very heavily focused on entrepreneurship and really bringing that in. And this might be an opportunity for us to continue on that track, or if you feel the membership is looking for even something else. I'm very curious.
I think we are looking at different ways to get our members out there in a more global context. I know that even for myself, I've only just started applying for music residencies. So, I mean, what you're talking about, these things in other countries, in a way, it feels like a residency where someone goes and they're immersed in this environment and they're with other like-minded people. And there's just not enough of those opportunities for people. So I would say this would probably be a really fantastic way to get our members more involved in a global sense.
Mm-hmm. No, I think
Through your events.
that is awesome. So, okay. So what I'd like to do, thank you so much, Kat. I'm going to bring in Will, and Will is a great example of a film co-op type of member, because Will is Will, just hop on. I don't want to say how young you are, but you are, recently out of the world of education, right? And why don't you give people a little background of you as a filmmaker, and then we'll go into what your experiences were with the first cohort of Filmpreneur. And I want everybody to know that Will might have been our youngest on the last trip, maybe not. But Will was so responsive in giving us feedback in building this. And so Will, this is like an open forum too. Like you went through the course, you gave us feedback. So feel free to tell the rest of the folks who are on here what worked, what could be better, because I'm not here to sell something that is bigger than it really is. But there's a lot of magic that we were able to create together, and I suspect we can do it again. But yeah, why don't you introduce yourself and yeah, take it from there a little bit.
Cool. My phone might die too. I'm actually going to start walking to my car and plug it in. But I'm out of my car now because I got evacuated to my house for a fire last night. Anyways, yeah, I'm 23. I'll just throw that out there now, Greg. I graduated from Colorado College just over a year ago, where I had a self-design major in ecological journalism and media. So combining ecological biology, film, journalism, and environmental ethics to, let's see, with I guess the idea originally of using ecological knowledge to be able to better translate stories and give life and characters, or I guess attribute life and characters to ecological issues, environmental issues, different things. Give me one sec. Turn on the car. Haven't lost you yet. This is all my stuff.
Yeah. You got a nice looking car.
And it's finally raining too, which is awesome. Okay. Thanks, man. 2005 Subaru Outback. It's still running. And all right, back film track.
Oh my gosh, we're having some difficult internet here tonight. I wonder if this is on my end. Okay, so I'm sure Will's going to pop in here in a second, and just shake your head, Elaine, if you can hear me. Okay, you can. Okay, great. Yeah. So as Will unfreezes himself. Okay, Will, you're breaking up, buddy. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to mute Will until he pops back on. So Will, I'm going to continue talking on his behalf here. Will is calling from Colorado, and he's one of our filmpreneurs that came in as somebody who I didn't know. He found out about this through people that know me in Boston, and he was able to come in and really get connected with a lot of other people who are taking their business to the next level. And it's so funny how he's so perfectly frozen right there. It's a very nice smiley face. Yeah, so Elaine, in the meantime, it's very possible we lost Will. Why don't we bring you on, and then we're gonna in a few minutes kind of go over what the second Filmpreneur is going to look like, and then we'll open up for questions because we've got a few other people who are on here that I'd love to bring on.
Okay, well, I'm unmuted now. Can you hear me?
Yep.
I'm not frozen. I'm all good. Okay, well, thanks, Greg, for having me on. And thank you, everybody, for coming on this webinar. It's a pretty exciting thing, this Filmpreneur. And so Will was probably the youngest person in Mexico. And I hate to say it, but I was probably the oldest, although I feel like I'm 20 most days. So filmmaking keeps me very young. And I get to play like I'm still 20. Oh, there Will's back. Is he unfrozen? No, he's still frozen.
Yeah, I think I'm back.
Are you back, Will?
No, am I here? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. So Elaine was just saying how young she was, which is really nice.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So okay. So Elaine, well, you pause while Will finishes, and we'll pop over. So Will, why don't you just stay on audio mode, brother, so you don't use up all your bandwidth?
Yeah. All right, cool.
Yeah, keep going.
What did you guys last? So I did a multimedia project in virtual reality about a woman who hurts by undergoes a form of psychological control. He described and have been at festivals and part of Filmpreneur, which met Greg for an invitation with most people.
Okay, Will, you're a robot, buddy. Yeah, you're roboting, unfortunately. Yeah, Will, don't worry about it, man. You sound like a robot right now, so we'll mute you. So listen, thank you, Will. I think unfortunately, wherever you are in your car in Colorado, you're not getting a good cell service, unfortunately. But stick around as long as you can. Anyway. Okay, so Elaine, why don't you pop back on?
I'm back on.
I love technology. In 2018,
well,
right?
Well, here's the thing, and this is what I've learned in filmmaking, is that, and this is what I like to teach people when we're off doing these fun things in Filmpreneur, is that as a producer, you have to be ready for everything and expect the unexpected, and you have to roll with it, because otherwise your director will be in the fetal position, sucking their thumb and crying in the corner. Sorry if there's any directors on here. Anyhow, so you just got to keep rolling with it, right? So bad internet and whatever, crazy hair and bad lighting. Yeah, you just go with it. But the Filmpreneur, we help people I guess to mitigate or to deal with some of these things, which is what I love. Because in the different modules, Greg really opens up his house code on all that. Can I say that? Is that appropriate?
Yeah. Listen, I might be wearing this under my house coat. Who knows?
Good. But really, Greg, in the modules, like, we hear all the good, the bad, and the ugly, and I think that's what, as filmmakers, we need to learn, that it's not always an uphill climb. It can get messy, but if you've got people who surround you who have been through the messy, and I mean, Greg and I have some very similar, interesting stories, because I've been through some interesting film stuff and business stuff, right? So we're really helping each other. And Greg and I were talking, I think it was last week, when I wrangled him to work on the back deck at the Wheelhouse in St. John. And one of the things I said was that with Filmpreneur, you are the student and the teacher at the same time, which is fabulous. So you get to share your expertise, and you're learning from everybody else in the group, which is brilliant.
Yeah, and Elaine, for you, you've put your hand up to help me with this, but you joined Filmpreneur, the first one, not as a helper, as a participant. And then, like everybody else, this is such a community. Like what the Film Co-op and CAT has done, it's like people believe in what we're doing. And you said, Greg, let me help you with this. But let's talk about your personal experience, as a participant.
So my personal experience as a participant, well, I didn't know what to expect going. I mean, I was like, what do I have to offer, or what am I going to learn? And, and mostly a lot of people in the group are a lot younger than me. And so I feel like, okay, I'm entering a field with people who are just starting out. But what was incredible for me was when we would, and I'm going to show you the schedule here. So here's a sample. This was our schedule in Mexico, and every day I would show up for our presentations, and I was gobsmacked by what I was learning at each session. And from our youngest to our oldest, and for example, Allie Beckwith came, and she's a 24-year-old photographer, artist, Instagram blogger, lifestyle blogger, and she literally had everybody leaning in, like, around our circle of sharing that day, leaning in, learning from somebody who's 24 but have been doing this for 8 years. Kat says my volume seems low, so I'm going to talk a little bit louder. Is that better, Kat? Okay. So for me, I left with incredible amounts of knowledge that I didn't have before I left. I came back with a renewed sense of excitement and, oh my gosh, confidence. And since we got back in May, so we're 2 months out, I'm doing fabulous projects that I would say a lot of them came about because of Filmpreneur, and some of them came about because of the confidence I had coming back after Filmpreneur. And I mean, Greg's not paying me to say all these wonderful things, although, you know,
I'm not paying you anything.
it's not a paid endorsement. No, this is me who I've been an entrepreneur since 2003, and it's, you know, sometimes you're learning through the school of hard knocks, but when somebody like Greg Hemmings, who is, you know, he's sort of, Greg, you're the go-to person in this province of New Brunswick, but from what I can tell from the people who are coming on the call, you are mentoring people all over the world. But in order to take it from that level of mentorship where you're giving them, you know, bits of hints of information, it's okay, well, how do I take that and how do I monetize it? Like, how do I build a business and then move from, you know, a hobby perhaps to freelancing? And we, you know, we help people through the process with that, and we will through this the beta too. But then, how do you move to an entrepreneur, which is you making money not tied to your time? And that is that critical next step, right? And so with Filmpreneur, that's what I'm looking at. And so in September, I will have a program ready, and through Filmpreneur, I'm going to be able to launch something that I'm going to be able to make money on when I'm sleeping.
That's awesome. I think that's all that anybody wants, you know, and it's true. I mean, that is the film model. The film and television model is you make it, and then you sell it to different, get a distributor, sell it to different territories. And that's the part where, you know, they say you make money while you sleep, which actually doesn't exist. But theoretically, all of us should be able to make money with our original content. Unfortunately, we are living in a world where content is on a race to the bottom for price, and the demand for content has never been hotter. So really, we're at a very interesting place where it's not easy to make money being filmmakers, but the demand for our content has never been more critical. And this is, I think, why there's such a hunger for building community around other people who are trying to figure it out. You know, and so thanks for those words, Elaine. It's look, there's Will's back again. Hey, let's give Will one more try before I jump over to what we've got in store.
Back, Greg. It should work now.
So are you in the mountains in Colorado? Where are you at?
So I'm actually doing a 2-week-long clay workshop right now. So I'm kind of up in the mountains, and I'm kind of, well, yeah, I'm definitely in the mountains. I'm like right at the base of Snowmass right now.
Nice. Okay, well, that's good. Well, let's jump right into it, Will. You came without knowing what was going on at Filmpreneur. You came after talking to me a few times as a filmmaker, asking some, you know, good business questions about how do I pitch, how do I, you know, get some templates, all things like that. But what was your experience? And, you know, you can be totally open. Like, what was awesome? What do you see that we're going to make better on the second one, which is coming up from what we learned? Just let the people on the call know the experience that you had.
Yeah. So I met Greg through like a random not random, but close family friend who I hadn't seen in 18 years, I think we figured out. And she pretty much was like, you have to meet Greg. So we set up a time to talk on the phone. And the first thing that Greg said to me was, like, how can I help you? I'll do anything to help you. And I was kind of just blown away because I'd never had a film person do that to me before. It's always like proving yourself and qualifying yourself before that happens. So that was a good start to everything, and I just really trusted my friend Sierra and Greg when I got to know him a little bit through a few phone calls, and just decided to go for this whole Filmpreneur experience. And it was awesome. I feel super tied into a community now that is just going to grow into a lot bigger of a community. And sorry, what else? So started with online modules that were Greg's story and following through that, which was good. And I think that's the part that, as Greg mentioned, I gave a lot of feedback that really we're working to build up and make it a really meaningful like pre-summit experience if you're going to do the summit, or as a meaningful experience in and of itself to help better your filmmaking. But for me, definitely the best part were a few of the homeworks of the online modules which I really took it upon myself to take the time and push myself to do. I'm kind of coming out of a intense education, used to having to, because that's what you do when you're in school, if you want, I guess. But I kind of wanted to do that and get the most out of this. And so there were a few ones kind of about why you do the work you do, what your purpose is, et cetera, that were really awesome. And that I now kind of talk about around my work when I took the time to reflect. And then obviously the highlight above all other highlights was going to Mexico for a super profound week, learning with all these other people in the community, getting to just be at this beautiful eco resort on the beach and kind of nerd out on film, on business, on finance, on money-making ventures, on love of travel, really good food. So yeah, just this whole experience was awesome to be there. And you really just get looped in. Elaine says nerd out, yes,
Nerd out.
which is totally true. Yeah, my big things, I really nerded out on like story structure with Katie. I tried to follow some of the crypto stuff, but it still confuses the hell out of me. What else is really great? Eitan and Marco's talks about just like kind of building this off of their love of story and film and conservation, building this whole business around sustainable tourism. God, there's so many. Corey, God, I can't remember what Corey talked about, other than that he's just such a good speaker. Like, I was just blown away by how great his speaking was. Same with Steve. Steve's stuff was all like way above my head, but just like he had it so dialed. So there's so much to learn there. I have a notebook somewhat full of stuff. Another thing Greg and I talked about was like, for me, a measure of how much value, how many notes I take, because I really like to like note take and write things down. So we're also working on how to be able to open up all these doors, which I feel like for me, the experience really opened up all the doors to, in the future, dive into these things, but how to both be able to open up a lot of doors, but also dive into some of the more important or more interesting things for each group per workshop, per Filmpreneur Cohort.
Awesome.
So
Well,
yeah,
thank
there's
you,
a lot
man.
of room for improvement, and also an amazing experience. So definitely recommend it to anyone that would be interested in becoming a part of an awesome community, trying to make change and tell stories and hopefully make money doing it. Actually, definitely make money doing it. That's a strong emphasis, actually. So
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, man. I always thank you for being so candid, and you've been such a help. And like all the feedback that we're getting from the first one, we're just plugging into this next one and making it even better. And what Will was talking about is everybody came with value and knowledge. It's not about me teaching. I taught one workshop and that was it. Everybody was able to share. So we learned about cryptocurrencies and blockchain and how does that relate to films in the future and distribution and smart contracts. We learned about really unique ways of distributing our films through sweepstakes marketing, of all things. We went deep into Instagram and how that can make money for people at the same time.
oh yeah, that was a good
promoting.
talk too.
And Elaine did an amazing one.
Time management with Elaine.
Yeah,
so important.
So
there should be an entire week-long workshop with Elaine on time management.
Well, I think, Will, that's a really good bridge to my next set of slides when you said we should have a week with Elaine. Well, we can do that, actually. So thank you, Will. I'm gonna pop you over to, if you can just put yourself on mute here, man. I'm going to show where we're going. So do you guys see a full screen here with Greece? It says Kefi. You guys see that?
Yeah, we can see it, Greg.
Awesome. Okay, so one of the other people that came on our trip was a guy named John Simon. And again, the collaboration of this community is so wild because John, what he does is he creates tourism packages for people anywhere around the world. So because of Mexico, at our first Filmpreneur Cohort, he was like, well, why don't we do the next one in Greece? I was like, well, why not? That's a great idea. So another filmpreneur has designed this trip for us. Here's the dates: September 24th, October 2nd. This will follow a number of weeks. So July 31st, we're going to open up the learning platform and start our discussions with our community. And that's just going to be the primer to a long haul workcation. So a lot of vacation feel, a lot of touring, but every single day, we're going to be in somewhere epic on the coast of Greece, learning in some of the coolest places. So I'm not going to read this because I'm going to email this document to all of you after this. But check out some of these places. So I just want to give you a really quick run through on the itinerary. So on the first 2 days, we're going to be in Athens, and like I say, you can read through this when I email you the document after the call. But then we're going to head from Athens on the third day to Tolo. I don't know if anybody has heard of Tolo before, but it's one of those iconic postcard Greek coastline type of places with all these beautiful old castles, gorgeous beaches. And by the way, the hotel that we're staying at that we've been able to book is literally open the door from your little chalet area and you can pretty much spit and you're in the Mediterranean Sea. Like you are right on the beach. So we're going to spend a number of days in this place called Tolo. So the great news is we get to drop our bags and stay in one spot and have amazing food together, but every single day we go to a different place. For example, we might go, on day 5, we're gonna go to Mycenae, treasure of Atreus, and I'm not even gonna pronounce these things right. We've got a free day to do fun excursions and hang out on the beach. We got boat cruises, but at all of these typically fun vacation type of elements, we're going to be having 1 to 2 hours of real programming time, and programming time that we're gonna film. So this stuff is going to be archived and put back into the course for future cohorts. So it's really, really kind of exciting. So here's just a few frequently asked questions that we've got, and I'll just quickly go through a few of them. What level of filmpreneur do I need to be to join this tour? So what I'm saying here is whether you're an amateur, whether you're a seasoned professional, or maybe you're not even involved in the storytelling space at all, but maybe you've got a business that really wants to tap into that as a form of content marketing. Filmpreneur is for you. It says, I'm not a filmmaker. Is that okay? I say, I am a storyteller, and I built this experience specifically for storytellers and filmmakers, but this is relevant for really anybody who has a heart for making change through story. What if I just want to go on the tour but not be a filmpreneur? Well, here's what's going on. Right now, we have a $3,500 US early bird price. And I just want to make an interesting note that we're pretty much a not-for-profit at this point. We're not making money on Filmpreneur until we actually go live in the fall, where the price points can be considerably larger for something like this. But these prices, they cover everything except for your airplane, essentially, and a few lunches. So what's going to happen is, if we really want like-minded people who care about story and filmpreneur to be the ones coming on here, if you just want to come for a vacation, we'd rather have your spot open for somebody who needs to grow from this. That being said, the rates are going to go up a little bit in August, and if we hadn't sold the 15 out yet, we will open it up to a couple people. Like, let's say you've got a spouse or partner who wants to come, no problem. But we really, to make this thing magical, we really want to have 15 max. And we've already sold 3, and we haven't even really gone live on this thing yet. So we're down to 12. We've got 12 spots right now. I really want to join this cohort, but I can't make the Greece dates work. If that's the case, and if you still want to jump in and go through the online modules and be part of the community, but you can't make it to Greece, don't worry about it. Come in anyway. We're going to find a much more affordable price for you, because really the bulk of the expense is all of the the room and board and the excursions, which is all taken care of. So it's actually a really crazy cheap price for a Greek tour. I've got skills and knowledge I want to share. Can I? This is critical, people, for Filmpreneur. Is, like I say, I'm a filmpreneur myself. I am learning as I go. I've got some stuff to share and learn and teach, but really I'm there to learn from you as well. So everybody who wants to teach and share something, or do a workshop or a keynote or whatever, this is the place to do it. And what a great skill to be able to practice giving workshops and helping support your community. And I think about that with the Film Co-op community as well. And Kat and Tony a number of times have invited me to teach workshops to other Film Co-op members. And just as a life skill, that has been so helpful for me as I have become a professional in my own path. So that's really exciting there. Why is this considered a beta? Well, because we haven't figured out this thing yet, and we really want to get this thing right. And with a beta, we're able to experiment. We're able to get folks like you to come on board and pick it apart, give us feedback, make this thing rocking. And that's why we're keeping it at an affordable price point. I just talked about the early bird rate. Yes, I've already gone through that. And how do I know I'll gain from this? So here are 2 videos. And again, I'm going to send you this PDF afterwards. The 2 videos will just show you some, you may have already seen them, the promo that we did from the Mexico trip, as well as another webinar similar to this where our first cohort members were just talking about their experiences and the impact that it made. So I'll be following up with you all with this information. So so stay tuned for that. I'm going to stop screen sharing here for a second. Okay, can you guys see me okay? Okay, I'm going to go to one more share screen, and we've got a little bit of time after, and I really am keen to hear from some of our other attendees, especially if there's any burning questions, which would be I'd be very happy to go through. Okay, so and don't worry, we're flowing through this. We've never had a webinar like this that went past an hour, and which is I'm very excited about. Now, can you guys see? And Elaine, maybe you can unmute yourself. Can you see the "What's the deal, Greg Hemming" slide?
Yes, I can.
Okay, it's probably not full screen, is it? But that's all right. Here we go. So this is some of the stuff. Elaine and I went through it, and I'm just being open with you folks. These are just numbers we made up. But when we're trying to think about putting value onto what we're trying to do, what I'm trying to figure out what a future price point is going to be for Filmpreneur after the betas are done. You know, we're talking about the online courses. There's a value to that. We're talking about mastermind classes, 2 weekly mastermind classes before the event. We're talking about coaching calls with me on a one-to-one basis. We're talking about 1-year access to the monthly Filmpreneur mastermind webinars. Every month moving forward, we're going to be bringing kick-ass global experts in the film and storytelling space to essentially give us little mini masterminds for an hour every month. It's going to be awesome. And we're talking top of industry type of big thinkers that we're going to be bringing in for this. You're going to get access to the video content that we filmed with all the programs that we did in Mexico. You can have lifetime access to all future evolutions of the Filmpreneur 101 course. You get all access pass to oops, I forgot that slide needed to be changed. So when it says Evokes Camp, just ignore that. Yosemite, everything that says Yosemite, let's pretend it says Greece. I totally put the wrong slide up. Many apologies. All this to say, we have, if we do our math, we kind of added it up, and it's like a $12,000 value for what this will be in the future. And I totally have the wrong slides up, people. Hilarious. This was when we're going to Yosemite. It was going to be a $3,000 US price point. It's actually $3,500. So good thing I'm in beta, so I can get away with these type of mistakes. And yeah, this is a little family shot, a family photo from our last group of really amazing folks where we got to hang out and really learn from each other. And it was just a beautiful thing. So I want to send this out to the Film Co-op community and some of the others who are on here before August, because in August we're going to actually put it up at a different price point. But this early bird rate is just a way to help the first cohort of filmpreneurs come in, as well as anybody else who's kind of in our New Brunswick family. And you know, if these dates work, if you're planning on a vacation anyway this year, I got to say, this is it. When you can do a vacation and work and connect and build a global network and be inspired and supported by others, it's kind of magical. So with that, you know what I'm going to do, folks? I think you can unmute yourselves, and I'd love to take some questions. If anybody has questions or comments, there might be a way to raise your hand, but in reality, why don't I just, if anybody has something, just unmute yourself and say hi. Hey, I see Jim Waters is on here. And John, do you know what, John, do you mind? What I'm going to say is, John, you're going to beware. I'm going to promote you to panelist. Okay? Here we go. I feel like I've got the power. It's scary. It's scary for people when I do that, because like I always have to hope that they got clothes on. John, we're going to unmute you here, brother. John, you may not have any questions or comments, but I saw you on here, and you and I have been talking a lot, and you as well have had you've had decades in the industry of experience, and yeah, and you've also been doing other cohort work with other people as well. And what would you like to see out of getting value out of something like this?
I like very practical things, finance, how to market your stuff. I'm not as interested, of course, in the mechanics of filmmaking, but I'm happy to help people with it. And I am already, on my own. I sort of follow your principles. I've been doing that for years, trying to do social value projects. And usually you don't get paid anything for them, I find. I'm actually, while you're talking, I'm cutting on a Green Party thing, so that I have to get done. So you've got a little covered up there, with different things. I just had to spread them aside so I can
and leave it to me just to shock and surprise you. So that's a warning to everybody else.
No, that's okay by me.
Yeah, no, that's good. John, you've been working in the industry for years. You and I met when you were doing the Antiques Roadshow, you and your brother and the team at St. John back in the day. How about just really quickly, things have changed a lot since then, right?
Oh, yeah.
So what do you feel seasoned veterans like yourself could contribute to something like this as a participant?
Well, often they go backwards, seasoned veterans, because they don't want to let go of the past, and they don't want to use the cheaper, newer cameras. They don't want to have any shots showing lights in them. They don't want to essentially be very honest with their audience, and audiences now don't appreciate that, generally speaking. I think you found that as well. Like, you do a lot of public speaking. You, in your the videos that you put online, I was really interested in your story, because I remember those difficult days in early 2000s when hit media was really, struggling, and people were sort of wondering what the heck was going on. So I think it's really good to be able to just talk about that. And certainly I don't mind talking about that. I've had, I was saying to you, I followed a sort of a parallel path, but about 20 years before you, bankruptcies and all sorts of stuff. And very difficult to make a good living in film if you want to be totally honest. I mean, my family's been in film distribution since 1913. And so I know what that's all about. And I know they're a great family, but boy, you better not turn your back on them. And I've been in production for 40 years or so. So I don't find it very different. The people in Los Angeles are pretty sharky. But anyway, so I think, I'm not really sure what to contribute to this. I have a little difficulty with the Greece thing, just because I think, well, why Greece? When I'd rather go to Grand Manan or something, which is much part of my DNA, and there's where my stories are. I have no stories. And
well, I'm glad you say that
right now.
Yeah, I'm glad you say that, John, because the fun thing about Filmpreneur is we really see New Brunswick. A future vision of mine is to see New Brunswick as a center for this type of thing,
sure.
Where we bring people here. During these betas, really, we're going where the wind's blowing, where the opportunities open. Mexico, an opportunity opened. Greece, an opportunity opened, and it's a place I want to go.
Yeah.
So, like I said earlier, I haven't really crunched the numbers, but really, if people don't want to go to Greece but want to go through this, we're going to make it affordable for those folks as well, because there's going to be a lot of people that want to go out. And in a way, if you can unplug yourself from your own community and just get away from the distraction, it can help with a new focus, which is really good. But John, thank you so much for your interest and your support over this. You've hopped on a number of our webinars, and and I know you've offered your support and mentorship out there as well. So very excited for that.
Well, I've been watching you since over 2000 or so.
Exactly.
And,
You've been
I always think, what's that crazy Greg doing now? It must be good.
I love it. Well, thanks a lot, John. I'm going to put you on mute. In fact,
Greg,
yes.
Can I mention something? So here's how for me Filmpreneur works, is that you're listening. So Greg and I are listening, and so John, as you're speaking, one of the things that you're saying, what I'm hearing you saying is, in order to create social impact films, there isn't any money. And those are your ideal clients. But so here's my challenge to that. And so this could be a course that we offer and add into Filmpreneur Greece, is that for years I've been teaching people how to find their ideal client. And I think Kat and I have had these conversations, right? How to find your ideal, like the music or whatever it is. So I help people hone in on what their ideal client looks like. And I have to tell you that in the last couple of years, I only work with my ideal client. And doing the freelance work that I've been doing lately, and I've been doing quite a bit for Hemmings Houses, I get to work with incredible companies. So this is commercial work. Incredible companies. I get to share messages that resonate with me. I get to help people. If I'm not crying during a film shoot, like they'll see me in the corner, it's like, okay, Elaine cried, we're all good. Because it touches me right in my heart. So this ideal client, so there, I can pull that in to our programming for Filmpreneur Greece. I have it. It's a presentation I've been doing for years. And so this will help our Filmpreneur attendees, our cohorts, so that they are focusing on the clients that they want to work with, that they desire to work with, that have the message that resonates with them. So how do you find them? How do you track them? And how do you lock and load that? And then monetize it, right? So that you are earning an income. And it's a different way of thinking, but it works. It totally works.
Thank you, Elaine. Yeah, thanks for that. My gosh, you're amazing.
Thank you, Greg Hemmings. Mr.
Okay.
Hemmings. Thank you, Mr. Hemmings.
Mr. Hemmings. So we've got 10 minutes left, and I really want to like to open it up to anybody else now, so I don't freak the people out that I don't know by just turning your camera on your behalf. Can someone just write in the chat if they'd like me to pull them over for a quick hello? And I see Lauren's on. Hey, Lauren. And Jim Waters, the master of VR, is on. Oh, this is great. And Genevieve is here. Oh, like I'm now doing the old polka dot door thing again. Yeah. So is there anybody that has a question that would like to or comment? And I don't need to pull you over to video either. John, I'll do you a favor and I'll stop your video here.
Okay.
Okay. I think I will anyway. There we go. Hopefully you're still there. I'm gonna kick you out. Okay, good.
Thank you.
Yeah. Does anybody else have any questions for us?
Greg?
Yeah, Kat.
I'm just curious. I'm wondering, for grants out there to do these type of, I would call it a residency to a large degree. I'm pretty sure that a creative person could apply to the Canada Council and to Arts MB and probably get support from the province.
Yeah. Yeah. You're frozen again, Kat. Sorry.
Oh,
there you go. Yeah. So, Kat, you are so right. And also, Pedal. I've been speaking to Pedal, post-education training and labor, and we are looking for ways to help New Brunswickers. Unfortunately, this doesn't work for non-New Brunswickers, but to help get grant money to help support your tuition for this.
right.
We haven't fully worked it out yet, but there's no reason at all why there can't be funding for this. Elaine, you were talking about CBDC. If you are a female filmmaker or a female entrepreneur, can you just really quickly talk about that program? Because I think you were a part of that.
Yeah, so in this region, we have the CBDC, the Community Business Development Corporation, and they have a Women in Business initiative. And I'm not sure where they are right now with their funding, but there's also a larger, what they call the big cast. So if you live rural New Brunswick, that's even better. So there are CBDC offices in all of the regions in New Brunswick, and I would recommend that that you get in there and you meet them, you get to know them. And my business wouldn't be where it is if I hadn't have gotten some assistance to help me grow beyond what I could do on my own.
So, Kat, one of the things that's on our list is to really find all the funding opportunities that we can, and we will be definitely sharing that with the community through our emailers. So, thank you for that. And Kat, if you find other granting opportunities, we've got until mid August, really, or late August, to get people signed up. And really, if you're on this webinar, don't worry. If you can find funding, we can. I'll keep the early bird rate for you if you're on this. If anybody has any specific needs, like, yes, I'm in, but I can't afford to pay you until down here, or I need a payment plan, just send Elaine or I a note, and we want to facilitate this to make it work and make it possible for folks. We're in a very special time here where this is actually not a money-making venture, so it's a tough one to bring people in at no cost or anything like that, just because of the hard cost for it. But what do I get out of that is if we can do one more cohort where we can run through the programming, film the programming, get testimonials, that's my payment. That's what, to me, that's going to make this program thrive moving forward. And that's why we're doing it at a break-even cost structure on this particular one. But we are going to find some funding to help people do it. And I see that Andy Solo says, darn it, because she's calling from out of New Brunswick. Don't worry, Andy Solo, there are artist and residency grants, like Kat said. Canada Council for the Arts is a great place to look. But we will have to do a little research on our side as well to find some opportunities. Thank you, Kat, for that. Genevieve, I'm going to bring you on. You may even have, this is funny, I have to allow people to speak. Genevieve, you may have some ideas on some grants and things like that too, maybe. I don't know. Is that something that's in your wheelhouse at all?
I know of the probably similar ones that Elaine mentioned. There are a lot under entrepreneurship, so those ones are great to take a look at. There's a lot under Canada Council, other ones, a lot of new ones, especially if you're, it would be considered kind of the more youth demographic. So if you're in your early to mid 20s, even like kind of usually 30 is the cutoff for a lot of them. But there are a lot of programs like Future, so Future Entrepreneurs, different programs like that support young entrepreneurs getting involved in kind of building their career futures.
Yeah,
so those ones are definitely taking a look at.
You broke up when you said Futurepreneur. That's a really good one for people to look at. Futurepreneur, so funny. Filmpreneur, Futurepreneur, so similar. Is real. And it doesn't matter if you're a filmmaker or if you're in crafts or whatever your business is. They're all about supporting the entrepreneur. So we're going to keep on looking for that. So thank you, Genevieve, for that. And really, if anybody else has any questions whatsoever, I'm going to send another emailer out. But greg@gregoryyhemmings.com is my direct email. Love to hop on the phone with any of you if you're interested in coming on, maybe not 100% sure how to make it work. Let's just at least have a chat and figure out if it's a right fit for you. Kat, I would love to find a way for you and Tony to come. I don't know if that's possible, but I'll even do a bake sale to find ways to get you guys to come. And yeah, well, with that, we've got 2 minutes to the hour, and that's pretty much a wrap. And like I said, please send me an email. Respond to the next email I send you all if you have any questions, and spread the word. You might know some other folks that might be interested in this. I really want to see this be a movement and a community of people who really care about each other and care about making the world a better place through positive film storytelling. Essentially, that's my selfish angle. I believe that we have a gift and a power as storytellers to change the narrative for the negative or the positive. And right now, we're living in a world where the negative narrative seems to be winning the race. We can help balance that narrative out, and especially if we are working with forces that have money, but forces that care, like companies that care, that want to hire our services. Not bad companies that are making the world a worse place, but good companies. Like there's all these discussions that we need to have in this community, in this movement. Okay, so thank you so much to my panelists, to Will, Elaine, and Kat, and thank you for all of you who have popped on. We had a great turnout, and have an amazing and hopefully not too hot of a night. It's bloody hot. I was in Fredericton today, 38 degrees, and I know the Ontario folks and Quebec folks are going through some really extreme heat, so hopefully you're staying cool. And with that, have a great night. Thank you, everybody.